What is up, Internet land? How are you doing on this beautiful evening, in this beautiful new year, 2021? We made it through 2020, most of us did. I know, see, I know Rose made it through.
Yeah, right here. Yep.
How you doing, my friend?
I am doing all right. It's a new year and it is a new chance for new opportunities. And we are having new opportunities and new changes here at the cave, right?
Oh yeah, I am so excited to tell everybody because it's been 3 weeks since we've been on air. We had the two holidays which we took time off, and then last week I was still in San Antonio, Texas, so we didn't get a chance to do everything. But we are back and rolling, and so much has changed in just 3 weeks. It is absolutely amazing.
Oh, yes, definitely. And it has been a while since I've seen everybody in the internet land. So I would like to say hi to everybody. And I miss you all so much.
Yeah, I miss everybody too, and I want to say what's up to Dominic. I see Dominic's online. Dominic actually had a really cool project that we did for him. He was the one that had the car. What do you call those things that make the cars jump up and down? I don't even know what the name for
The
that is.
hydraulics. They're called hydraulics.
The hydraulic, yeah. So we put that into a lightsaber for him, into a Luke lightsaber, and he has that in the car. So I am excited to see a video of how that turned out.
Oh, yes. I got a chance to actually fix the blade.
Yes, that was a really, really fun project to do. So we thank you, Dominic, for that. And that's actually a product that we're going to be rolling out this year with all the new changes. I
Howdy.
see Pat is online.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
What is going on, Sis Cat? I am really, you know what I'm most excited about?
What are you most excited about? Let's see. Time with Van. What is you excited about?
Not only are we making changes with Kyber Cave and our business model, hydraulic, yes, thank you, Dominic. We are making changes to Saber Rattle itself, and it starts now. It starts tonight.
Yep.
We're not waiting for anything.
Nope. Yep. As you can see from the bottom right here, we have new layovers right here. We also have the logo right on top of Xcala.
Yes, and
And it,
even the logos popping up down here look cool.
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I love how it transitions. Look at that. I just transitioned to Sith Cat. He's saying things that make you jump up and down.
Your
Neat.
knees. Yes. Well, I'm excited. So some of the changes that we are making on Saber Rattle, in fact, one of the brand new segments, we have two new segments that we're adding to the show. We've always done the interviews, but now we're going to be adding a segment called Flow of the Show, and we are also adding Cosplay of the Day. That's how you can tell I used to be a poet. You see those little rhymes in there?
Yes, I can tell.
So we every segment going forward or every show going forward, every Friday, you're gonna see a different flow of the show. And what that's gonna be is there are so many tremendous flow artists, people that use the saber not for fighting but to do things artistically with it.
Yes.
I love flow because it's one of the few things that you can do by yourself. You don't have to have a partner. You can go in your backyard and just practice different tricks. But we have a brand new producer that is going to be giving us these videos and clips every week. And he himself is an incredible flow artist. And I'd like to bring him on. And then right after we bring him on, we're going to show our segment, The Flow of the Show. Chris,
Yep.
thanks for tuning in. Happy 2021, my friend.
Hello, Chris.
All right. With no further ado, is Mr. James Kiser, aka Darth Cephalus. Is he in the house?
Yes, he is.
Cephalus.
Hi guys.
What's going on, Daddy? Oh, how you doing tonight?
Oh, pretty good. I've not on the most glamorous of backdrops, but it is what it is. So, how are you guys doing?
Dude, I'm digging the octopus Batman shirt.
Yeah.
Or is that like Cthulhu, or is that
Hulu?
Cthulhu? I'm digging it. So why don't you now we have had the privilege of talking to you on our show before. We had brought you on as a flow artist, and that was when I found out that you do so much more than just flow arts. You make the holocrons, which are so cool. I'm sure probably some of our viewers in the audience have at least one of your holocrons in their house.
Oh yeah, I see him pop up every now and then on cosplay pictures too. So it's nice to
Right, right, and
something and then see it live out in the world.
right, right. Well, that's always the cool thing, right? To be able to walk around and see somebody holding something that's yours.
Yep.
And you have another very interesting notoriety that I absolutely love. What kind of business do you own up there in Oregon?
I have a video store, like an
Yeah,
actual, honest to goodness
he didn't
video
say
rental
streaming
store.
service. This is a video store, video cassettes.
Yep. Yeah. So it's last of a dying breed, but there's still a few of us out there, and I'm one of them. It's interesting in COVID times, but we're still hanging in there.
Right, right. I'm sure, and you offer definitely a unique service. So that's a little bit about who you are. Um, tell for people that don't aren't familiar with what flow is. Give a little quick definition of what flow is, or why you do it.
All right, I can do that. So, flow arts is kind of a fancy name for something that has a lot of names and has been around for a long time. If you're looking at just the nerdy sort of Star Wars in universe, there's actually a whole section in the Jedi Code book that talks about moving meditation. And that's basically what flow arts is. Flow arts is something that comes out of the world of psychology. It's a coin that was termed by some guy with a very Russian or Czechoslovakian sounding name that I couldn't even begin to pronounce. But it's basically the idea that instead of just using a saber or something like that to fight all the time, you use it as a motion tool and you use it as a form of artistry. And flow arts has a lot in common with like circus arts. So you see a lot of flow artists work with lightsabers, but a lot of us also work with fire. And some people work with staffs, and some people work with swords, and some people work with hula hoops. And there's just a lot of variety to it. But what it is, it's basically taking this weapon that we all know and love, and using it in a way that sort of exercises experiments with motion. And if you're actually into combat sort of stuff, it helps you develop the ability to transition from one thing to another. So while you could be like watching or doing a kata or something like that, or a martial arts sequence, you're planning these specific set of moves and you're doing them in order. With
Right,
flow arts, it's about sort of this improvisation of movement. That's you just sort of get out there and you see how things flow into the or into one another, and the goal is to create what they call a flow state, which is basically a like the moving meditation idea in the Jedi Code, except from the 70s, and it's been around a while, and sometimes with fire.
right, right. And it's truly beautiful to watch. What I love about flow, what attracts me is, you may have several different people that do flow arts, but because it's so individualistic, because it's something that you're practicing on your own, the presentation and the way that people put together their sets of moves, you could be doing the same moves as another guy, but the way you put it together makes it look just so completely different than maybe another person would. So even people doing things that are very similar, because of their own flair, they really bring their own personality dynamic to their presentation.
Yeah, and everybody, all flow artists develop their own sort of flow. So yeah, that is definitely the case. I can see some people that I've known for a long time, and even if they were wearing like a full bodysuit or something like that, I'd be able, or with some of them, I can look at these people and I can say, oh, I know who that is. I know how that person moves, and it's
Right, right,
just have your own sort of technique to it.
right. Well, I see Chris here says he's so excited for this. Let's not hold up that anticipation and excitement anymore. So going forward, for everybody in our audience, this is the first night we've done this. James, we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for being a new producer on our show. So every week you may or may not see James himself, but he will be the person responsible for bringing you a video. It might be a minute, minute and a half or so, but a different video of different people in our community, which is worldwide, mind you. Different people doing their flow to show you different examples of what's out there. So, with no further ado, Flannel, you got that loaded up? James, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Enjoy the rest of your night there.
Yeah, you too. Have a good show.
All right, this coming up is James Kiser's Flow, aka Darth Cephalus. If you want to find out more about him, you can find him on Facebook or just ask us, and we will definitely get you that information. Roll that film. Oh man, that was incredible.
Amazing.
You Flannel?
Oh, that was amazing. Like I can't even pull off some of those. So that was amazing.
So that's what that segment's going to look like. Maybe next week we'll add some music or something to that. It seemed like we could have used some like high tech music or techno or something like that in there. This show is going to get better as we go and go, but that is the idea. So every week, look for the flow of the show. Our producer, our brand new producer, Mr. James Kiser, will be bringing you a different video clip every week. So that is a brand new segment. A new segment that we also have is coming up at the end of the show. So don't go anywhere. Make sure to stay through this interview and come up for a brand new segment. Tell them what the other segment is, Flannel.
Fun time with Sasha Banks.
What?
Nah, just kidding.
I was like, hey, nobody told me about this.
I had to say it. It's been 3 weeks. I had to say it.
So what is the segment we have at the end of the show?
Oh, it is. I forgot the name. I studied this all night. It's cosplay. It's cosplay.
Of the.
Let's see. Cosplay of the day. There we go.
Come on, it rhymes, man. I did that on purpose.
Cosplay of the day.
Right. So, and we have a new host and producer for that segment too. Her name is Veronica. I'm going to be excited to bring Veronica onto the show, and we have a very incredible guest. We have Miss Lady Deadpool of Fresno. Will be our very first cosplay of the day.
Deadpool to a Deadpool. I'm so excited.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you cosplay Deadpool now, right?
Yep.
Woohoo! So that's going to be a good one. I'm very excited for that. We're running a little bit over because of these introductions, so I want to get into our main interview. I'm very, very excited about this. I haven't had a chance to talk to our next guest personally on the phone or anything like that, but I met him through somebody else who runs an organization called Rebel Cause Lancaster. And forward in Kyber Cave Plans, that is an organization that we are going to be sponsoring. They're a nonprofit organization out in Lancaster. And I really dig Caden and what he's doing with the group. So we are going to be sponsoring this nonprofit organization that works to help the homeless. But I met this next gentleman we're about to interview through Caden. And I'm excited because this is the first time we have, See, this is how you can tell Kyber is nothing but love. We have competition on the show. Another seller, another Saber creator and manufacturer is on the show, and he's going to be talking about his company, how he built it up. So, with no further ado, I would like to bring on Mr. You can't see my drum roll, but I'm doing a drum roll. Mr. J. Cass.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me.
Holy goodness, you look like you're on like a blue. You look professional. You look like a director.
I do a lot of webcam conference calls, so I got it all set up good.
Man, this looks good. I feel like you're about to do a behind-the-scenes documentary with me. So, how's it going for you, Mr. J? How have things been?
Oh, things have been crazy. We're with Civilized Age Sabers. We just finished the holiday rush, and I'm telling you, it was the busiest I've ever been.
That's fantastic. I imagine. Now, let me ask you. Since this quarantine has started, well, where are you? What state are you in?
I'm in Pennsylvania. As you were saying earlier, I'm in Lancaster County, same as Rebel Cause.
Okay, wonderful, fantastic. So I imagine, I know out in California, it's ever since March, we've been on this perpetual cycle of super lockdown and then light lockdown and then medium lockdown. Has that affected, are you an online seller with your business? Do you have a storefront? How does Civilized Age Sabers work?
So the way I work, it's a one-man show. It's just me. I don't have any employees or anything. I would consider myself to be a low-volume seller. I sell on Etsy, and I sell in two ways. I'll do it where a customer would have an empty hilt that they bought maybe from Korban or Solo's Hold or KR Sabers, and they'll mail it to me, and I'll install a CFX, a crystal focus, or a Prophy board, and do it up exactly the way they want it, make their dream saber come true, and ship it out to them. Or a customer will contact me and say, you know what, I really want Mace Windu's hilt. I don't even know where to begin, but I really want that one. And what I'll do is I'll hunt that hilt down, and I'll get them exactly what they want. Whether it's Mace Windu, like this one right here, or if they want something like Cal Kestis had in Jedi Fallen Order, we could do that too. I'll hunt down whatever lightsaber they want, and I'll turn it into their dream.
Wow. What if a customer says to you, I really want the Cal Kestis saber, but I'd love to have a dragon engraved in there in red and black. Do you do that kind of service, or would you find somebody? Like, do you have people?
So if there was like custom etching work that would need to be done, there's acid etchers that I work with where, like, here's a Cal Kestis. This one is from 89 Sabers. It's weathered up. Now, I've done some of the weathering myself, but it definitely does not come like this with the end pulled up. So I'll do some weathering services, some painting services, custom chassis work I'll do. But if it comes down to like really intricate machining work where it's engraving or acid etching, then I'll outsource it to some of my other vendors or associates that I work with. Right.
But basically, if somebody comes to you, there's not too much that they couldn't come to you and say, Jay, I want this done. You know somebody for everything that you can do.
At this point, yeah, pretty much.
You know what I find funny about weathering and sabers in general? Sabers are one of the few categories where someone will pay $1,000 or $2,000 to make it look like it's only worth $50.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what's crazy is this is the new Ogdo killer from Denis Lukinov, and right. I mean, look at it at the end here.
Right.
This is an extremely expensive hilt, empty. It's like $350 empty, and
right.
This is what it comes looking like. So yeah, I mean, to get it screen accurate, and that's another thing is screen accuracy. I mean, I have a Graflex here, and I wouldn't even think of sending a Graflex to a customer without having like a screen accurate blade plug,
right.
popped in here, just to make sure when they look down the barrel, that's what they're seeing.
Exactly. We both know that some of our fan base can be extremely finicky.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that's some of the genius of George Lucas when he wanted that lived-in looking universe. That it leads to collectors nowadays wanting something that looks trashed.
Yeah, that's it. And the best Star Wars are the ones that feel old, that feel like things are going to break down. I mean, look at the Millennium Falcon. How many times did they say it's a piece of junk? And I mean, everyone's favorite ship.
Right. Exactly. But it's that feeling of, this is a world that I could live in.
Yeah.
So now how long ago did Civilized Sabers get started, and what was the impetus to get this started? Was it a need in your community, or?
No, I had no intention on doing this as like a business. Obviously this is a side business for me. Like I said, I'm low volume. I like to take the time to give the customer an experience. I just did a Graflex with a crystal chamber, and we went through the entire process. I even had quartz crystals lined up, and I took a picture and asked the customer to pick which one he wanted. So I like this slow process to give the customer more of like this interactive experience with building a lightsaber. But when I first started, obviously it was my love for Star Wars. And it's such a weird story. My brother was in Disney World, and he said, hey, they have some lightsabers for sale. And at this time, I didn't even have one lightsaber.
Right.
And he said, you want me to pick you up one? I said, oh, man, that'd be awesome. So he sent me the Kylo Ren Disney Parks lightsaber. I was so excited. And I got it home, and I plugged in the blades and I turned it on, and I was like trying to hype myself up, but it was so disappointing.
Right.
It was quiet. The effects were kind of weak, and I was just like, "There's got to be something better out there for this." And I just like on my own just ripped everything out of it, all of the electronics, and then I was like, "Okay, what can I do now?" So I just did a ton of research online. I talked to guys over at like the Saber Bay, Justin Marshall. He helped me out a lot trying to get into this. He helped me pick out a chassis, actually one that he designed for that Disney Parks lightsaber. And after weeks and weeks of trial and error, I finally got this thing functioning with a little old Nano Biscotti, or no, it was a Prism 5.1 from Plector Labs, and I was thrilled at it. And some of my friends saw it, and they were like, "Oh, that's so cool! Look how loud it is and how bright it is." And someone said, "Hey, could you make my nephew one of them?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, just buy the parts and I'll make it." So I made them a lightsaber, and it kind of like started snowballing from there. And I was like, you know what? I'm getting kind of good at this. Maybe I should open up an Etsy shop and see if there's some response. And I remember the first lightsaber I sold on Etsy was a Graflex 2.5 for a guy out in France who wanted to use it for a fencing team. And I was blown away that like he wanted to actually duel with this thing. So we set it up to be duel worthy. And that kind of started it all. And from there, he gave me stellar reviews. And then the next customer came, the next customer. And that was about a year and a half ago.
Right. Wow. A year and a half.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. And so you're getting to, in a year and a half, you've gotten to the point where you've got a rough and overwhelming Christmas times now.
Yeah. This holiday season has been extremely stressful, to say the least. I think what happened is with the current climate of the world, politically and both with the pandemic and everything, people are looking for an escape. And a lightsaber just takes them away for just a moment.
Right.
And it'll give them that sense of fantasy that they had when they watched Star Wars for the first time.
Right.
And I find that that's why I'm busy, especially with the canon hilts, the ones that are purely Star Wars, is they're looking for Luke Skywalker to just come through that elevator and just start chopping down Dark Troopers, That's what I'm looking for nowadays. And when they open up that box, when they get it in the mail and they see it and they turn it on for the first time, it's that release, that escape from all of the crap that's going on right now.
Right. I'll tell you what, we here at Kyber Cave, we are a storefront, and we're also a dojo. But I tell my guys all the time, we talk about the reason we have the store is there is no feeling like handing somebody a saber and watching them hit that button for the first time, especially if it's a sound saber, and just hearing it light up, or if it's a NeoPixel blade. And it doesn't matter if you're 97 years old or 7 years old, you are going to revert back into a 7-year-old, no matter. And it doesn't matter if you're male or female. You don't have to speak English. It does. Everybody has the same reaction when they hit a saber, and there really is no feeling like getting to experience that on a daily basis when people come into the shop.
Exactly. I work in a manufacturing plant for my day job, and there's a bunch of like tough guys that work in there. And I'll occasionally bring one in, and I watch these tough guys hold a lightsaber for the first time and turn it on, and the smile on their faces. It's just it turns them into a child again. It really does.
Right. And I'll tell you what, nobody is immune to it too. We've done a couple of the local parades here, and I guarantee you, every single parade we have, a lightsaber fight breaks out with a cop every single time. A cop wants one of those lightsabers, and we're out there dueling. Breaking the law, breaking the law. Yeah, there is simply no feeling like it. So, what do you find? That's very interesting. And because I've never had another lightsaber seller on here, I don't really get to talk about all of these dynamics. But why do you think, like, if somebody comes into you and they say, "I want to wait a Mace Windu," and then you try to say, "Well, I don't have a mace. I've got a Luke Skywalker." No, 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 no. I have to have a mace. What is it that you think makes certain people where only a Mace Windu saber will do?
I think it's the connection with the character. Like, for instance, a Mace Windu. Let's just take that for example. We all know who the character is, right?
Right.
Like my nephew, he's a young black kid. He's 18 years old. I would imagine that he relates to Mace Windu more so than maybe Luke Skywalker or Ahsoka. So
Right.
he's going to want a Mace Windu or he won't. But I think that people get attached to a character because of either representation on screen, or it could just be the character reminds them of something in themselves.
Right.
It could be, with Cal Kestis, it could be the that oppressed feeling that they have. I've had a couple Cal Kestis lightsabers. I call them Cal Kestis, even though they're Geritopal, but we could get into that details. But I've had some Cal Kestis, and these guys tell me their life story as we're kind of just talking about it, because I always interviewed my customers before, find out what their character is, why do they like them. And I mean, some of these guys have some pretty rough tales that they're telling me, growing up on the streets and, having to scratch their way into getting a job. And now they're secure and have a family. And one thing that they've always wanted was a lightsaber. So, I mean, it's stories like that. I'm like, wow, now I feel this huge responsibility to deliver this product to them and make sure it's perfect in every way, shape, and form, so that they feel that satisfaction that we were talking about.
Right, right, right. Now, do you tend to get more people that are, because you and I both know, which maybe some people aren't aware of, sometimes think, oh, that's just the saber nerd there. But no, there are categories of saber nerds. Some
Yeah.
people are into the flow arts. Some people are really into collecting. They want a nice wall queen that they don't even really intend to play with. Some people, they just want something fun to play with their kid in the backyard, so it doesn't have to be screen accurate or anything. And
Right.
then there's cosplayers who screen accuracy will only do. Do you tend to find you get a good mix in your clientele, or do you tend to get more people that are cosplayers or collectors or
Well, for me, for what I do, for what Civilized Age Saber does, I did, like, for the guys who want to do like that backyard, just have fun, smacking it around. They want to spend a couple $100 and have like a fun lightsaber. I actually send them elsewhere. I think you guys are a reseller of LGT. Is that right?
that's one of the companies we sell,
Okay,
like
so
and all the other Saber Forge, Ultra Saber.
Okay, so like LGT is one that's a really low cost, but actually has really good quality. I know some of the guys that are resellers, and I actually know the owner a little bit and some of the other workers that were working there. So I actually refer them to a company like that if they just want something cheap. Now, if you want a cosplay, accuracy matters, you want something from the films, now I'm in. Or
Okay.
if you have a Saber Forge or an Ultra Sabers and you're looking to get something more premium put in it, that's where I come in, where I've put CFX boards or Prophy boards in
Right.
Saber Forge or Ultra Sabers. And, I had some really crazy builds that some of these guys had from, I guess, their ASP parts, where it's kind of like build your own lightsaber.
Right.
He'll send it to me empty, and I'll put a CFX in it and make it, crazy, and add 16 different sound fonts, whatever the customer is requiring from me, to give them what they had imagined. So that's kind of where I operate. I'm not going to say like I'm like the harp. I don't know if you've seen harp sabers. That's like a different planet of what they can do. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle where LGT operates for those guys who want to spend a couple $100 to have some fun. I'm next, and then we get to those like really high end, you know, where it's almost basically a piece of jewelry inside a lightsaber hilt.
Right. Your definite wall art.
Right. Yeah.
So now, just really quickly, you and I and some of our followers may know, but could you tell people who may not know what the difference between a Prophy and a CFX is?
Yeah. So both of these boards are crazy powerful. You're looking at about a $30 difference. And what I always tell my customers between these two boards to not think about price, because for $30, the difference, it's going to be negligible in the whole grand scheme of things.
Right.
When it comes to a Prophy board, it's extremely powerful. The effects are mind-blowingly good. However, it's difficult to program. You kind of have to know how to write, it's the Prophy lines of code. It's kind of its own proprietary thing. Know what's going on there, how to line everything up. It's more difficult. A CFX, when you get a CFX board from me, it's programmed. However, using the little USB port here, you can plug in a USB cable, use their software, and it's all graphical. You don't like the way a blade effect works, you can slide little effects over, make it look however you want, program your own colors. One thing, and I can't speak for Prophy board right now because they're adding this feature and I have to test it, so I don't know how it works yet, but CFX also has on-the-fly blade profile. So a Prophy board can change colors, CFX can change colors. But what the CFX can do is actually change the blade styles. So you're flipping through blade styles where it's like unstable, faster flicker or shorter flicker, whatever us as the installers program into it. As you're turning through those different styles, you can lock in whatever you want, turn off the lightsaber, and the next time you go to it, it's that same blade style. Prophy are kind of working towards that, but it's not there yet. It might still be in beta, but there's a lot of programming involved with it. Whereas CFX, it's like a graphical interface. You just slide some sliders and you know exactly what you're getting. So if you want to tinker, CFX. If you want to just get it and forget it, a Prophy board's great to go with.
Right. And even James is saying it comes down to how much you like programming. So, there are some people that, their mind, they're just, they love code. Maybe they like to make their own video games on the side. This is probably, for them, a Prophy board is probably nothing for them. But I have heard, especially people that maybe aren't as experienced in the Saber community, they so much more prefer the CFX board because I just feel like it's a lot more user-friendly.
Yeah.
For somebody right off the bat.
Absolutely. And I mean, just to give you an idea, here's an Ahsoka from Solo's Hold. And so we have the blade on now, right? So I go to Spectrum and I could turn all my colors, right? And if I pick a color, I could hold it down and I just turn through. And now I'm getting all these different
cool effects.
Yeah, cool effects where it'll lock it in, and the next time I turn it on, I could turn off the battery, everything, forget it, come back, and it's the exact same setting that I had when I first, set it up. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to play around with your Saber, you want to tinker a little bit, the CFX is really the one to go with, unless you're good at, like, Arduino programming, you kind of have that way of thinking. They go for a Prophy board, but you got to be aware it's lines of code. There's nothing graphic about it.
Right. Now, would you say that sabering as a hobby, do you think it's tends to be overwhelming for new people, or pretty easy, or what do you think?
I think it depends on your background. I had a background in electronics and IT. I mean, IT is what my day job is. So for me, it was kind of like a natural step in that direction. But if you don't have a technical background or a background where you're able to solder, it could be tricky. Knowing how electrical current works is vital, really. You know, knowing Ohm's law, even just a little bit, is extremely helpful. Um, yeah, I think it's really important that if you're going to get into it, get one of those practice boards and just practice soldering things into it. And by the time you get to something like this, and I'll hold this up here, those are really tiny holes. And actually, this is bigger than the last version. So the Prophy 1.5 was a lot smaller than that. But yeah, just practice. And the community generally is really good at supporting newcomers. There's lightsabers builders, something, I forget the Facebook group, but they're really good, and they're really kind to newcomers. And there's a lot of helpful people that can reach out and really help you when you get stuck. But do your research if you're going to try and get into it as a hobby. It's not easy, but I don't think that it's unattainable. I think that if you really want to do it, go for it. Find the resources. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and make sure you have some spare cash, because it's an expensive hobby to get into.
Right. Yeah, and I know there are several lightsaber groups on Facebook, and even in fact, there's one specifically for Prophy boards. So for
Yeah.
people that want knowledge on just how to, how their connection should go on a Prophy or something like that, they can go to this group just to learn about
Yeah,
that.
so what you're talking about is the Prophy support group. And the one that I was talking about is the Saber Builders Academy. The Saber Builders Academy is fantastic. If you're new to it, it's a good place to learn. Even the CFX group, if you're interested in that board, is a really good place to learn. And overall, just general lightsaber stuff, the Universal Lightsaber group is a really cool place to just see what everyone else is doing and just have some fun banter back and forth.
Right. So, hey, really quickly, we got a question down here. I want to answer this really quickly on our end, James, and I'm going to ask you, Jay. But it says, has anyone ever asked you to install something that was not originally designed to be a saber? So we just did, and actually we had him on earlier in the show. He was one of the people messaging, but he does hydraulics on his car. He does car shows, so he likes to, soup up his car and everything. And he had us put his jump hydraulics into a saber. So we had this extension cord coming out of the hook, the pummel that hooks up to his car, but we hooked it up with its own separate battery so he could light it up. And then it was a Destiny saber, the Luke saber. So we just took the box and just put the switch on there. So
Right.
we have had a few of those unusual requests. Have you had anything like that?
The only unusual one that I had was a guy told me that it was a lightsaber. And when I got it, it was actually like a pipe that he kind of just made designs in. I mean, it was like literally just a steel pipe he made designs in. And I kind of laughed and said, you know what? No, I'm going to install this. And I did. I installed this pipe it was a full CFX, single button operation, and full NeoPixel. And I installed this pipe and sent it back to him, and he was a happy customer. So that was probably the only weird one. It was just like a steel pipe with some weird designs on it and a hole for a switch. And you know what? I installed it, and he was happy.
Well, it's funny because you would think, okay, the lightsaber community should be a pretty set group, pretty whole, right? But even within the saber community, there's so many subgroups, right? Like, so there's people that collect the Galaxy Edge sabers, but then some people want to battle convert those so that they can actually use them. And then there's whole groups of people. I can't remember what they're called, but they're like the Home Depot crew or something like that.
Yeah.
The whole thing is going to Home
Sabers.
Depot and seeing what they could find to make the coolest saber out of, regular, hardware store parts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's literally a group for anybody. If you want to, any kind of saber you want to get into, there's a group for you out there.
Yeah.
What is have you had any projects that you were worried about, or like things that people they wanted etching but you just thought it wasn't going to work out well? Or
No, I think the only one that actually got me a little concerned, where I thought I might have bit off more than I could chew, was this guy right here. This is Ahsoka from Solo's Hold. It's not the big one. It's
Right.
Here's the big one. Here's the
Right.
little one.
Right.
And the customer wanted a CFX in this. And I was like, CFX in something this small? And
Right.
the blade depth in it is pretty deep. I mean, we're talking like right here is
Wow.
where the blade goes. So
You got no room
I
to
was
walk.
really concerned about it. So I kind of like, I looked at Goth 3 Designs and I kind of took a design from him and then modified it and made it work with a CFX. And this is kind of like what we came up with. And it barely fits. Like, that's it. But I mean, it's a CFX and it's installed. It took
Right.
a few weeks to get this one done, but it's done. And now I'm just waiting for the customer to finish paying this one off, and then I'll ship it out to them. But yeah, that one got me nervous. It was tricky. But usually these hilts are pretty well engineered and designed, where I could just basically take a caliper, make a few measurements, design a chassis for it, and install it. Or I go to some of the guys who are well established in chassis making and just buy one from them.
Right. Do you own a 3D printer?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you're able to do, like, if somebody said that they wanted a custom crystal chamber or something like that, you can actually design things.
I could design it, or again, a lot of times what I'll do is just purchase a crystal chamber from someone that already has it, purchase a design, print it myself, and then paint it up. Like this one that I have for my personal Graflex, this is a crystal chamber. There we go. And this one is actually designed by Black Lion Sabers. Great design. It's not overly complicated, which I like. You know,
Right.
I'm not into all of the fancy designs because it's my personal lightsaber. You know, if a customer wants a Goth 3 design, you know, with all the bells and whistles, you know, it's going to be expensive, but, you know, I'll do it exactly the way they want it. But for a simple 3D printed crystal chamber, that's awesome. I love the design that he made. So I just print it out, paint it up, and that's what we have.
Wonderful. Are you is what you're doing, is this what you kind of envisioned when you started off Civilized Age Sabers, or do you have like a bigger, like, 5-year plan that we want to start doing this kind of thing or this kind of thing? Or
no, I'm pretty happy where it is right now. I like being low volume. I don't want to, you know, get to the point where I'm doing like a Saber a week. I like taking like 1 or 2 or even 3 commissions at a time, having that customer interaction, kind of like building their anticipation for the lightsaber, having them be involved in the process of picking things out, picking fonts, designing blade styles. That whole long process takes a few weeks, sometimes even months to happen. But I like that slow process. I'm not out here scratching for money, trying to get every sale I can. Right now, if you look at my store, there's nothing on it because I am just recovering from all of the commissions that I've just finished.
Right.
And I have 2 more builds to finish. I have an Obi-Wan from episode 3, and I have another Graflex to finish. Once they're done, oh, and I'm sorry, if Caden's watching this, I have your hilt here. I had a chassis designed from my friend Matt out in Italy. It's sent to me. I've painted it, and I'm going to be installing it here shortly. But those are the guys that I'm working on, and then after that, I'm going to be putting pre-made sabers on my store. So I have a few that I'm going to be installing, like this wonderful Sabers. This one is really cool. It's a Leia Saber. But what's unique about this one, aside from the pearl inlays, this is all copper. So it'll tarnish and get like a weathered, used look. I have a Mace Windu that's going to be going up. That's going to be installed with either Prophy or Cfx, another Obi-Wan. So there's going to be stuff that's going up that's ready to be shipped. all NeoPixel installed, and I could modify the programming how the customer wants. So that's really where I'm going. I'll still take a couple commissions here and there, but I'll also have some things ready to ship on the store.
Right. And do you find that those sell just as quickly or just as well? I mean, oh yeah, I knew Veronica was going to pop up when you put the Leia Saber up there. She had made a comment earlier about Princess Leia, so you putting that up.
Here's the one that's for my wife. This is from KR Sabers. This actually has real mother of pearl in it.
That's gorgeous.
So my wife is still waiting for me to install this one, but you know, side by side, they're pretty close. And I was actually like, man, which one am I going to keep and which one am I going to sell? Because this wonderful saber is absolutely beautiful. But I gotta give it to KR. He really outdid himself with
that man's an artist.
This is a gorgeous lightsaber. I can't wait to install this one.
Yeah, and I think it's those little touches because sometimes, especially somebody will come in here and they're like, well, I'm looking for a Darth Vader saber, and I was like, oh my god, you just like, I don't even know where to begin with that one. There's so many.
You gotta go with the MPP. I mean, the real wires on the side. Don't get rid of those plastic things. Get rid of them.
Right.
We could put the real wires in, make it look good. Get the screen accurate blade plug. I mean, you got to get it screen accuracy. And of course, we could pull that off, but a lot of guys like to leave this on.
Yeah, it's amazing because especially people that are brand new to sabering, they don't realize that you can't just say I want a Darth Vader saber, because well, how accurate do you want it? And
what episode?
Right. Yeah, what episode? Rogue One.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So there is quite a different variety out there. Us ourselves here, because we are also a combination dojo / storefront, we tend to get a lot of people that are looking more for heavy duty fighting sabers as opposed to screen accurate sabers. But we do get the cosplayers in here who want the exact replica of such and such.
Right.
Do you have a personal preference? Like, do you well, I know you got a Vader saber there, but what is your personal favorite saber?
I always go back to the original Graflex. Now this one is kind of like a semi Empire and Force Awakens. Just gotta pop off the glass eye here and put on a button to be full Empire Strikes Back. But this was my first lightsaber that I had personally that was like a full Prophy board, like real deal lightsaber. The second one was the MPP, the Vader saber. So that was my first exposure to Star Wars with Empire Strikes Back. It's actually the first memory I have as a child. I remember sitting in a high chair watching, I don't know how I remember this, but I was watching a scene, the scene with Yoda and Luke in Dagobah. And that's like if I dig in my mind as far back as I can, that's as far as I can remember. And I remember as a kid, I just always wanted this one right here. Just this lightsaber. If I could just get that. And it was just like, I remember when I got it from, I think Saber Bay is where I got the empty hilt. And I remember, when you get it, it doesn't have the grips on. There's no clamp card. The pins, I don't even think are in. And just holding it it was just like almost surreal. Like, wow.
Right.
Is this what it really felt like? And, installing it was kind of like a surreal experience.
Right.
I've done like, I don't know, 15 of them. So it's like, I always I think that's my favorite lightsaber to install. I've done a lot of them, and it's just, I don't know, there's something about it that makes it my favorite. So I got to say the Graflex by far.
Beautiful. And Kevin here is asking, what's the average time to make a custom saber? I think that's a little hard to say, but I don't know if you, because it really depends on what the person's asking for.
That's true. A lot of times, the length it takes to make the saber is a lot of waiting for shipping. I can turn a saber around probably in 2 weeks if I have everything here. But like with COVID and everything, this whole summer was a nightmare trying to get actual hilts in. Like this,
Yes, sir.
this is the Dennis Lukinoff creepy uncle. I did one of these over the summer, and getting it was like a 6-week ordeal. Once it was here, it took me like a week to finish it, and it was out the door. But like 6 weeks was waiting for that hilt to come in. So if you have a character or you have a hilt in mind that you were trying to get and it's not readily available, I will hunt it down the best I can. But a lot of times I'm going on forums, I'm talking to other people trying to hunt this down, saying, hey, do you have an empty? No. Do you know anyone that does? And it's literally, that is most of the time that's consumed in trying to get someone a lightsaber that they want.
Right. Fantastic. Well, Jay, we're coming up on the end of our segment here. I definitely want to thank you for your time. Before we go, can you let people know if they wanted to reach out to you and get on your commission schedule, how would people get a hold of you? Or when you have those sabers up after you take a little break here from your holidays, when you get more stuff up, how can people find you or purchase themselves a Civilized Age Saber?
Sure. So just look for me on Etsy, Civilized Age Sabers on Etsy, or you can contact me on Facebook or Instagram, Civilized Age Sabers. You could send me a message on any platform. I respond really quickly, and I'm happy to talk to you. Just let me know exactly what you're looking for. And even if you're not sure what you're looking for, we can chat and work through all those problems. So you can reach me on any of those platforms. I'd be happy to talk to you.
Wonderful. Jay Cass with Civilized Age Sabers, it has been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for being our first guest of the brand new year.
All right, thank you.
I wish you a little bit of break after the holidays, but then get back out there and get those sabers out to happy kids of all ages.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Jay. Have a beautiful evening.
Thank you. You too.
All right, Flannel. Where you at, Flannel? Oh, there he is. Hey, and I saw your messages when we're doing the interview. You guys can come down here. We have a Spider-Man that hangs out, Spider-Gwen, and Deadpool that hang out here very often. Mostly on the weekends, I think, is usually when it happens.
Yeah, mostly on the weekends.
Yeah, so if you want to come down and take a picture with Spider-Man, please do, or Spider-Gwen, or Deadpool, or all of them together.
Yes, all of them together. We are happy to see everyone. Don't be afraid to ask for a picture or a high five, anything.
Beautiful. And you know what? You wearing that mask, I think, is a beautiful intro to our next and final segment. We're running a few minutes behind, but we're rolling out some brand new things, so I'm not too worried about it. Can you bring up our brand new host for the show, Miss Veronica Dempsey, please?
Hi.
Da-da-da-da, there she is. What's up?
Nothing much. How are you?
Life is beautiful. It's so funny. You are now working with the show and with Kyber Cave, and we've like talked online and messaged many times, but I've never actually seen you. This is interesting.
Yeah, I keep meaning to come by the store. We're a little bit of a distance, but yeah, I have to come by and actually check out sabers and fighting and have a lot of fun.
Right. Well, but Veronica, I do want to say, even though she has not been in the store, she is she is a true nerd herself. I see her postings online, and that's actually how we became buddies. And then when I found out she has the television background experience, she has far more television background experience than I do. She has the real stuff. Like I had to make my own stuff up. I was like in public access and stuff, but she did the real thing. So we brought her on as the new host of a brand new segment that we are running on our show called Cosplay of the Day. So she will be the host as well as the producer. Every week she's going to bring us a new person that we get to learn about what their character is, what they did, all that background stuff. So I am super excited about this brand new segment.
Me too, and I'm sure I see the chat. Everybody's really excited to meet our Deadpool, our Lady Deadpool. Yeah.
So we're in Fairfield. We are in Northern California. For those that don't know, we're halfway between Sacramento and San Francisco. Obviously, Fresno is not close to here, but she has a huge fan base and following all over the state. because she is one of the hosts for OhanaCon. I'm going to let you get all of that, but yeah, just know that people like them some Lady Deadpool Fresno. So, with no further ado, Veronica, I'm going to hand this over to you and let you do what you do.
I guess we're going to introduce.
Yep.
I really don't want to butcher her name. So we have Lady Deadpool. I'm not quite sure what was her name. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And your actual name, because I've only seen it written.
It's Andrea Beckham-Manjarres.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit about how you got involved, or because earlier in the show they were talking about people who are inspired and how they latch onto a character and want to cause.
I've been cosplaying since September 2018. Since then, my fiance was actually cosplaying as Deadpool. And going to a lot of Comic Cons, I didn't see a Lady Deadpool. So I started looking it up, and I'm like, man, she's really kicked butt. She seems like a lot of fun. And so I started doing that, and it just slowly rose to be really good.
And I've seen your Instagram, obviously, and I'm sure everybody on the chat is very, very excited to see a Deadpool. Have you've seen all the movies, and have you and have you seen the comic books as well? Have you seen the comic books as well?
Honestly, I think I've seen more Lady Deadpool comic books than I have actually Deadpool, which is kind of funny because most people read the Deadpool before Lady Deadpool, and I'm like, no, I like her.
Yeah. And your whole family is involved. It's a whole family act.
Yeah, actually, I do Lady Deadpool. My husband does Deadpool. My daughter, she does like a Gwenpool, and then my son does Kidpool. It's just, it's a lot of fun to do a family thing.
And you have a Ohana Con that you do?
For the past 2 years, I've been one of the featured cosplayers for Ohana Comic Con. Help them find other guests, be a guest judge for them, and be a featured cosplay, which I am amazingly grateful for them. If it wasn't for them, I don't think I would have been put out there to where people could see my cosplay, because I'm always changing it. So I'm very grateful for them to give me my start.
What's it like? Because I know being a cosplayer myself, is it a little intimidating sometimes being, I notice that there's a lot of guys that do more cosplay. Is it kind of a little intimidating being the only girl sometimes?
It is. It is. I've been around other cosplayers, Deadpool Fresno, KOTJ Cosplay, the Dancing Deadpool, who's really popular. And it's fun just being around guy Deadpools because they honestly baby you. Because here in Northern California, there aren't that many Lady Deadpools, so they're like, and they kind of baby you. But it's a lot of fun. I've not had any bad experiences.
Excellent. And can you tell me a little bit about your costume or your cosplay? What went into it? How much time? How much planning?
Oh my God! To be honest, I winged it. The mask was handmade, and this ponytail I actually got today because I'm slowly trying to upgrade. The suit, I have 3 suits, and I have another new canvas one actually on the way. And all kinds of gears because of COVID-19 and not doing a cosplay for the past year. I slowly have been upgrading from what I was in March. which is pretty exciting for me because I'm like, oh, it's COVID. And I'm like, no, I need to get ready just in case.
And I'm sure everybody else has. I think everybody in the chat watching feels you. We were sort of taken away from the things that we really love, which are the Comic Cons. We look forward to them all year long. What have you been doing in the meantime? Because I've seen, like I said, I've seen your Instagram and your pictures. And what have you been kind of doing in the meantime to keep yourself busy other than upgrading your cosplay?
Being a mom and trying to figure out how to homeschool my 8th grader. I think that is the most difficult thing I've ever experienced in my life, trying to be a homeschool teacher.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. I'm sure the online schooling and have you have you done any nerdy things? Kind of keeping yourself busy with the costumes. I've seen some. Yeah.
Yes, I have. I'm doing a Fortnite Cuddle Pool / Deadpool cosplay. I'm getting that ready. I also have acquired a female Venom, which I'm excited to wear. So I'm like, that's female Venom is completely different from Lady Deadpool. So I'm really excited to do that.
Do you cosplay any other characters other than the female Venom and this one?
For right now, that's it. I did do Death by Sandman at 2 Comic Cons, and I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm more comfortable with the mask on because the mask kind of lets me hide a little bit. So I think that's why I'm more comfy with it.
And is there any dream, like no money, no nothing, like you like $1 million to do a cosplay? Do you have like a dream cosplay you would do?
My dream cosplay would be Queen Myra, the Locust Queen from Gears of War. Oh. I'm a huge Gears of War fan, and if I could have any amount of money, she definitely would be it. That would be a beautiful cosplay.
Oh yeah. And can you talk a little bit more about OhanaCon? And I know some people have already commented in the chat. Can you talk a little more about OhanaCon? Because I know not everybody gets to all of these cons.
Ohana Comic Con is basically they are from Turlock. The owner is Ziggy Star, and it's a family oriented. Ohana definitely does me family with this organization. Almost every weekend they're in a different town. I would have to say in 2019, I did over 63 Comic Cons. So that's a lot of appearances in 1 year. We would travel from Fresno to Sacramento, all the way to Blue Lake. I mean, it was nothing to have, 3-4 hour drive just so people could get a taste of a smaller Comic Con, especially if they're not able to go to the big ones. So Ohana Comic Con, it is like family.
How do you how much time does that take following the cons like that?
Oh my gosh. A lot. You get tired, especially if you have one on Saturday and one on Sunday. You do get tired, but it's also fun. I mean, just seeing smaller kids, because there's a lot of little girls that did not know that there is a female Deadpool, and they're excited. And I'm like, oh God, I want to hug you. But it's neat too because little boys are like, you're a girl Spider-Man, and I'm like, okay, I'll take that. I will totally take that.
How do you deal with that too? Because I know that a lot of people are like Spider-Man when they see Deadpool.
It's cute. I just say okay, or if they keep looking at me like, where's my web? Why am I not doing it? I'm a girl Deadpool. I'm in charge of all the other Deadpools. I have to keep them in line. And they're like, oh, so you're like a mom. I'm like, exactly.
Have you come up against any Spider-Man and have a little fun with them?
No, I haven't. Thank goodness, because I'm pretty sure that I would get webbed and I'd not be able to get out of it. But I have a couple Deadpools. They're like, really? I'm the better Deadpool, and I'm like, but according to the comics, I have to keep you in line. That's why I'm here.
Yeah. Because I know notoriously in the comics, because Deadpool and Deadpool himself will frequently make fun of and is aware of the fact that he's a character. If anyone is watching that doesn't know who Deadpool is, actually, you want to explain a little bit about Lady Deadpool, who she is, and how she relates to Deadpool?
Lady Deadpool, there's like, she's beyond the fourth wall. Basically, her job is to come down to Earth and keep an eye on Deadpool because he's screwing up so badly. And then she realizes that there's all these mercenaries that are doing really bad things, so she wants to make sure that they no longer do bad things. And then you kind of have Deadpool, who is like always doing bad things, so seeing little kids, well, are you like Deadpool? Kind of, but I'm a better one.
So if Deadpool's the anti-hero, you're the anti-hero?
Yes, actually,
yeah. Let's see. What about well, if anyone, like I said, doesn't know who Deadpool is, period, he's also aware of the fourth wall, like you said, and he frequently makes fun of the comics and yeah.
And now this week it was announced Deadpool 3 is coming out.
Really, I haven't heard that one.
Not real sure when, but I'm very excited about that.
And yeah, hopefully they're pushing through with COVID and hopefully getting stuff out again. Life is hopefully returning back to normal soon.
It would be nice. It would be nice. Yeah. Doing a lot of Comic Cons, like 63 in 1 year, and then all of a sudden it just slowly go down to nothing. It's weird. Mm-hmm. Because my weekends were always full. I had to get ready, travel, do the Comic Con, see familiar faces, meet new friends, and then all of a sudden it just drops.
Yeah.
So for the first couple months, I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? It was really weird and it was depressing. But I'm like, okay, I got to get out of this little funk and slowly upgrade my costume.
And if I might say, that's very, very like, wow. I'm excited to see a Lady Deadpool, and more girls.
Yeah,
I'll ask.
They need to get in there.
I meant turn off my mic. Sorry. Oh. We were doing stuff backstage. Kill this. What's up, Andre?
And before we go, do you want to tell us more about when it starts to go back to normal? How people can get a hold of you and how they can find you if they want to meet Lady Deadpool?
On Facebook, you can find me under Lady Deadpool Fresno. On Instagram, all one word, Lady Deadpool Fresno _. I'm basically the only Lady Deadpool Fresno, so it's not real hard to find me if you want to search. And I love meeting new people. I love seeing other Deadpool fans. Some of the Deadpools I met are amazing. Deadpool Fresno, he's amazing. Very funny. It's definitely, I miss the connection with other people.
And do you have anything possibly planned in the future pretty soon, hopefully?
In March, Diehards and Sons here in Fresno, hopefully, they will be having their annual Weekend Blender at Sierra Vista Mall. It's a Comic-Con 2-day event. Hopefully, they will get approved for it because this is an awesome mask to wear, totally protected. So hopefully, they'll get the okay to do that. Definitely look up Diehards and Sons. Weekend Blender, it'll be there. That's in March. There I will have my canvas Lady Deadpool suit. The next day I'll be wearing my female Venom. So hopefully I can see some familiar faces and new faces.
And I'll ask the chat, does anybody have any questions for her? Or and I'll give everybody a chance to, if they want to do that. Is there anything else you want to share about your cosplay?
Just that I really miss everybody. I think that being a cosplayer, I miss putting on that act. You know, seeing kids, being able to entertain people, seeing other people's amazing cosplays. I've met people who have had just gorgeous, gorgeous cosplays. So slowly upgrading. Within the next 2 weeks, I'll get my canvas suit. So yeah, if anyone goes to Weekend Blender, if it happens, there will be a whole new Lady Deadpool.
Whole new Lady Deadpool. Everyone's even, yeah. And Brett Franklin says we miss you. Thank you for joining us. I wasn't sure if they broke back in because they were saying there was enough, or if it was just. What about well, apparently they've gotten some time still. What about you said that you Marie Rodriguez says hope to see you again soon.
Hi.
What about you said that there was an amazing mask, so like how do you, like, is it a full mask or?
Oh my goodness, yes, let me get a little bit closer. This thing, the inside of it has cheekbones. It has actually female lips, eyebrows, eyelashes. Most Lady Deadpool masks that you find are just like the male version. They're not, they don't have the cheekbones.
Oh.
This one was made by Be Anyone, and this is the only female mask that they've made. So I think that kind of what puts me apart from other Lady Deadpools. My mask is actually female.
So it's a detail. I'm sure that the camera doesn't do it justice.
Yes.
And for the hi.
Well, hello. Yeah. No, I'm loving this interview. This is absolutely fantastic. Do you have places where people can contact you, or like if they wanted to see some of your photography? Because I know you've worked with a number of great photographers, including Patrick Malone, who is here at Kyber Cave. In fact, if people had seen the advertising, the photo that we had on there of you was taken by Patrick Malone. Where can people see more photos, or if they wanted to contact you, maybe they want you to come visit their con, how would they get a hold of you?
On Facebook, Lady Deadpool Fresno. Instagram, all one word, Lady Deadpool Fresno _. Also contact Grateful Photography. The photographer for that is Patrick Malone. Also on Facebook, Heidi and Nathan Montalo. They have also done photography for me. All three photographers are absolutely amazing. Same thing with Mark Montalvo.
Excellent. And really quickly before we go, I do know that you've been working hard during the pandemic. You've got a couple of Facebook pages. I know you've got a Fresno Comic Con page, and then you have one that's specifically like one of your newer pages that you've been working on, right?
Yeah, I'm a moderator for Fresno Cosplay Group. I'm a second admin for everything cosplay. The main admin is No Seraphin.
Okay.
And he asked me to jump on board, and it's taken off. It's going really, really good.
Right. Yeah. That group has blown up really quickly.
Yes.
So I know that even though that you're not out there doing the cons, you were still working hard behind the scenes.
Time to. Plus with the everything cosplay, also introducing other cosplayers that are worldwide that people that may not know of.
Right.
So it's a lot of fun.
Right. Well, that's what we're doing here too. We're looking for people that different cosplayers, so that other people can be inspired. There might be the next Lady Deadpool out there watching the show right now.
Yes.
I will. I will ask you. You put on a picture of a completely black Lady Deadpool. Is that another one, or
That is a suit that is slowly coming along.
oh,
Ooh.
we're excited.
The fun thing
Yeah.
about
Looking
cosplay
at,
is they always have a
looking
new
at.
project they're working on. Like it's like art; it's never truly done. There's always little pieces they're building
Yeah, you're
on. The
always upgrading somehow.
wonderful. Well, Andrea, I want to thank you so much for being on tonight. Thank you for being our first guest on the cosplay of
thank,
the day.
thank
When
you very
Veronica
much
gets
for
back
having
out
me.
there, make sure to go see Andrea and Mr. and Mrs. Deadpool. And Veronica, I wanted to thank you knocking out your first interview for the night. Thank you for doing all your hard work. I'm really excited about this segment and to see how this is going to grow as the show moves on. So thank you both very much, and we will catch you later.
Thank you.
Peace,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.
All right. Oh, what'd you think of that show, Vic?
It was amazing getting to see Lady Deadpool. Oh my god, that was truly inspirational for me because I'm gonna spill the beans because I'm gonna start being Deadpool, cosplaying as Deadpool. So
Right. That's the mask. So having Lady Deadpool on as our first guest was a special, nice little treat there.
yeah.
Um, I was really. What do you think about the flow segment, homie?
Oh my god, the flow segment! I cannot wait for what's in store for next week. I'm definitely gonna look back at that video and practice more of that trick stuff from James. That was amazing.
It was fantastic. So for next week, guys, we are going to get ready and wrap it up here. Next week, I believe we have Gary Ripper will be back doing his special interview.
Yes.
Uh, And then, of course, we're going to have James Kiser. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to be doing the flow next week, but or whatever artist we have. James is the producer of that segment. So every week it's going to be him or some other flow artist out there, and he'll be bringing that to us. Veronica Dempsey, I want to thank her as our cosplay of the day host and producer. She's going to have a brand new person to interview for us next week as well. So, for everybody out there in internet land, we want to thank you so much. We are here at Kyber Cave, 915 Texas Street in Fairfield, California. We're open 5 days a week, and hopefully we will see you there. Stay safe, everybody.